Hello everyone, I'm very happy to meet you all again today. We will learn step by step how to engage in self-education. The theme of today's lessons is the wise use of emotions, which is a very important topic in life. Because humans are emotional beings, everyone has emotions and this is innate. Have you ever seen a baby without emotions when a baby wants to play with a toy and suddenly has it taken away? Have you ever seen a baby sitting there, filled with inner peace, saying, "Everything is fate, just go with the flow"? We haven the baby cries and stares blankly. Emotions are a very natural response of the body to external people and things. Emotions themselves are neither good nor bad. The most important thing is that we understand how to make good use of emotions. All seemingly negative and terrible emotions, therefore, understanding how to wisely use emotions is a great wisdom in life, a lesson that any truly successful person must learn. I have seen some PhDs and double PhDs in the past, very impressive, with extraordinary achievements, high positions and abundant wealth. However, many of them are not happy, one reason being that they do not know how to use emotions wisely. Many people encounter difficulties in life, facing numerous problems, relationship issues, marriage problems, issues with children, and even emotional and mental illnesses. This is because they are hijacked by emotions, dominated by emotions for a long time. Even though they are smart, emotions are a deeper realm. Therefore, even if you are very smart and wise, if your emotional intelligence is problematic, many issues will arise in life. So, understanding emotions is key, because if we do not understand our own emotions, we cannot control them or transform them. If we know how to use them wisely, are the wisdom and strength of life, the source of our power. The biggest taboo when facing emotions is what we men often do, especially as traditional macho men, which is to suppress emotions and pretend nothing is wrong. "I have no problem, am I angry now?" Such statements. Once suppressed for a long time, of course, it becomes unbearable and will explode. We call this the beach ball effect. Think about it, if you press a beach ball down on the beach, is it hard? Do you need to exert force? Of course, you need to use force to press the beach ball down. If you must press for an hour, what will happen to your hand? Very tired, your whole body tensed up. And then when you let go, what happens to the beach ball? It bounces up with a bang. Our lives are like this. I am the same. I have always been a person with intense emotions. I am a typical macho man, very impulsive, excited, self-centered, and self-righteous. When I was young, I would argue and fall out with others, filled with anger at the same time. This is also good news. Think about it, even with my background, I can now become a spiritual mentor, and my emotions have calmed down a lot. I still have emotions, but I have mastered some effective methods to coexist with my emotions, making them my good friends and the source of my strength and support. Therefore, the most important thing is to train the mind and cultivate our heart's emotions need to be trained. The first thing is that we must understand that we do not need to escape from emotions. Because our traditional society always feels that people should not have emotions, so when we have emotions we will escape, cover up, suppress, deny, and pretend not to know. This is the most dangerous and causes the greatest harm. Because we suppress some emotions that we think are negative, as a result, even positive emotions will be suppressed and denied. If we do not face our fears and do not acknowledge our fears, we will not have courage. If I deny my sadness and continue to bury my sadness, it will be very difficult for me to have empathy and connect with the sadness of others. Because to connect with another person's sadness, I must embrace my own inner sadness. Therefore, those who suppress their emotions, or if I do not understand pain and feel numb to it, I will not understand gratitude. Thus, negative emotions are actually very valuable. They remind us of some very important things, remind us that we need to improve and progress, and remind us of our blind spots. All blind spots are pain points in our lives. Emotions are the best entry point and starting point for life growth. Anyone who wants to engage in spiritual practice, anyone who wants to make their body, mind, and spirit healthier and more powerful, anyone who wants to become a leader, master, or mentor in life, or anyone who wants to be a team leader or run a good business, I believe the first thing they need to learn is to handle their emotions well. In the next lessons, I will share many different methods and effective approaches to teach everyone how to handle our emotions, all of which are very practical methods. I personally feel that, as mentioned earlier, the biggest taboo in handling emotions is to escape, cover up, suppress, and deny, which is to ignore them. Therefore, the way out is awareness. It is to mindfully pay attention to my emotions. Because emotions, seemingly negative emotions, have the energy of love behind them, which is a yearning for love. This yearning for love is blocked and closed off, which is why we experience many emotions. Therefore, behind all negative emotions, we can find a positive intention. This awareness is very important. Next time when I have a lot of emotions, I remind myself that I do not need to suppress them, nor do I need to vent them, but rather let myself be still, connecting with the possible sadness, anger, helplessness, fear, and guilt in this moment, which are all cries for love, indicating that I have some needs within me that need to be seen, respected, listened to, empathized with, affirmed, and cared for. Emotions are always about some unmet needs and expectations, some inner demands and hopes. Therefore, emotions are a good way for us to open our meridians and regain our inner wisdom. If you are very angry, pay attention to what needs and yearnings I have suppressed behind that anger. Perhaps I yearn for fairness and justice, and when I do not get it, I become very angry. If I do not know how to handle this yearning, it turns into attacking and projecting. Or if I feel very guilty, why do I feel so guilty? Because I yearn to be accepted, I keep attacking myself, so guilt reflects my high demands on myself, not letting myself off the hook. Guilt reminds me that I need to connect with the power of acceptance. Or when I feel very anxious, worrying about how my child is doing, how my husband is doing, how my mother is doing, how my father is doing, etc. I may have many attachments, insisting that I am right. Is that okay? Therefore, all emotions help us examine ourselves. The most important thing is that emotions are a multi-layered building, layer upon layer, and the bottom layer is what we call core emotions. Core emotions are the most fundamental emotions. Let me give a simple example to help everyone understand the multi-layered nature of emotions. Therefore, the wisdom of life is to discover yourself, the multi-layered nature of your own emotions. Everyone has a multi-layered building of them. By recognizing your core emotions, you will understand how all the important decisions in our lives, all important behavioral patterns, communication patterns, thought patterns, and emotional patterns come about. They all stem from some core emotions we have. For example, using a very traditional and simple example, a woman sees her boyfriend chatting happily with another woman at home, laughing and seeming very close. How would this woman feel? Of course, she might feel very angry. Anger is just a surface emotion in any situation, not a core emotion. Beneath anger, there can be many layers, and each person is different. Beneath anger, there may be feelings of grievance, feeling that I have given so much, yet you treat me poorly. Behind grievance may be a lack of security, feeling very unsafe. Inside, there may be jealousy, feeling that you no longer want me and prefer a woman with better conditions than me. Behind jealousy may be fear, fearing being abandoned, etc. Emotions. So, from the surface emotion of anger, it can go down to grievance, jealousy, inferiority, feeling inadequate, or even guilt, feeling that I am not good enough to keep my boyfriend. It can be fear, and there can be many layers. Therefore, next time when we have surface emotions, usually anger or frustration, immediately let ourselves be still. We do not need to suppress it, nor do we need to vent it, but rather look at what the core emotion behind this surface emotion is. Because surface emotions are responding to our core emotions, and often they are masking, escaping, disguising, or denying the core emotions. So, I hope everyone has this awareness. Before we share many effective methods in our future classes, we need to befriend our emotions and learn to make good use of them and transform them. There are 3 things worth noting. First, ask yourself, what emotions do I experience most often? What emotional patterns do I keep repeating? Some people often feel helpless, some often feel angry, and some often feel fear, worry, guilt, shame, anxiety, self-blame, or inferiority. Everyone is different. Look at what emotions appear most frequently for me. Through this emotion, I can see what my inner needs and desires are. This is the first thing worth looking at when we want to transform our emotions. Second, we need to recognize our emotional skyscrapers. Okay, the most surface layer might be anger, guilt, or helplessness, but there are many layers beneath it. Okay, the most common core emotions are fear, guilt, sadness, and helplessness. These are the more common core emotions. And as mentioned earlier, anger is always a surface emotion in any situation. It is an externalized emotion that manifests from core emotions. Of course, anger is very important, but it is not a core emotion. Third, it is worth asking ourselves if I take responsibility for myself, if I am fully responsible for my needs and desires. How can I handle myself? How can I face my emotions? I encourage everyone to ask themselves these 3 questions more often. First, what are the emotions I keep repeating? What emotions do I experience most often? Second, the emotional skyscrapers, layer by layer. Third, if I take responsibility for my emotions, how can I face myself? Okay, finally, when we learn to handle our emotions, we will also learn to face the emotions of others when interacting with anyone. I see the other person, for example, my mom or my wife. When she scolds me and says I'm stupid, many people are scolding themselves for being stupid. Okay, I need to recognize that behind her, she also has her emotional skyscrapers, and when she vents her emotions on me, she also has her desire for love. So, we often say to handle emotions first and then handle matters, because if we only deal with events, we cannot see their true inner needs. If your child suddenly throws things around, doesn't want to do something, or dislikes doing it, what is behind their outburst? They might feel unloved, feel that their dad has neglected their needs, or feel that their sister is favored more than they are. See and hear their emotional skyscrapers and understand what their emotional desires are. Therefore, making good use of emotions is a lesson that one must learn in life, because it not only brings inner peace but is also an essential topic for successful relationships with anyone. Alright, today the time is almost up. I have shared the first lesson on making good use of emotions. In the next class, I will start sharing an effective method for each class, allowing us to learn to cultivate and transform our emotions ourselves. Thank you, and I sincerely appreciate everyone.
Hello everyone, today I will share the second lesson on wisely using emotions. First, let's discuss the most important initial step in managing emotions, deep breathing. On average, adults breathe about 20,000 times a day, so understanding how to breathe correctly is crucial for maintaining good health. However, many people are unaware that they often breathe using only their chest. When we feel stressed, tense, anxious, or angry, our breathing tends to become short and shallow. This prevents oxygen from penetrating deep into the lungs, reaching only the surface level, which leads to insufficient ventilation and a buildup of carbon dioxide in the body. If this continues, it can cause oxygen deprivation in the brain, resulting in dizziness and fatigue. Over time, this can weaken the immune system, making us more susceptible to various chronic diseases and psychosomatic disorders. Therefore, mastering effective breathing techniques not only stabilizes our emotions but also plays a vital role in our overall physical health. First, imagine a beautiful line from the heavens pulling straight up from the top of your head, lifting your head and straightening your waist and back. Regularly practicing this feeling is essential. Otherwise, our internal organs will be pressed for a long time, leading many people to experience various symptoms in their heart, liver, spleen, lungs, and kidneys, making them prone to various chronic diseases. Second, feel your feet growing like a tree, with roots extending deep into the ground, so your feet are grounded. Avoid sitting with your legs crossed, as this can distort our internal organs and harm the body. Third, perform a very good gesture called up and down hands. Place your right hand on your chest and your left hand on your dantian, which is located about 2 inches below the navel. The right hand touching the chest represents a calm heart, while the left hand on the abdomen signifies feeling the slight rise and fall of the belly, telling the heart and the whole body to relax, relax, and relax. After practicing, this gesture carries significant symbolic meaning and acts as a stabilizer. Even when you're on the subway or bus, or standing waiting for someone, just gently touching your hands will instantly calm you down. Or, when you think of something unpleasant or see an upsetting message on your phone, instead of venting or escaping, lightly touch your chest and take a deep breath. Of course, closing your eyes is very important. So, how should you breathe? This is crucial. The fifth step is to visualize the issues far away, pulling them far, far away, to dozens of feet, hundreds of feet, or even thousands of feet away. News, partners, parents, or projects become tiny specks of dust, temporarily putting them aside, facing them later, and first finding back your inner strength, okay? So, the final step is to inhale all the oxygen deeply and exhale the most important thing, to release all the carbon dioxide and toxins from your body. 5 steps. First, visualize the line pulling up your head, feel the roots growing from your feet, then perform the up and down hands gesture, close your eyes and pull the internal meridians far away, and the last step is to slowly inhale deeply, with the exhalation time being twice as long as the inhalation time, slowly and gently releasing all the waste gases. When we do deep breathing this way, the blood vessels in the chest and lungs expand, and the elasticity of the cellular blood vessels improves. Typically, the volume of each breath taken is around 300 to 400 milliliters, while deep abdominal breathing can reach 3,000 milliliters, which is 10 to 8 times more. Thus, oxygen fills every cell and pore in the body, naturally enhancing our physical fitness, memory, decision-making ability, and alertness. This is in terms of the physical aspect. Additionally, I encourage everyone to practice deep breathing not just during meditation but also as a daily habit. When reading, working on the computer, or attending meetings, sit up straight and follow the 5 steps mentioned earlier. Visualize the line pulling up, feel the roots extending from your feet, avoid crossing your legs, gently touch your up and down hands, and close your eyes. If it is inconvenient to close your eyes, even with your eyes open, you can still pull the internal meridian far away, focus on your inner self in the present, and slowly deep breathe, inhaling fully and exhaling all the air out. Now you can try a few times. Sit up straight, inhale deeply, and then exhale fully, clearing your mind of all distractions, pulling away everything that bothers you, okay? At the same time, at the physical level, we add another element. Deep breathing is also important at the spiritual level, which is mindfulness, being aware of and paying attention to your body's and emotions' responses. Just observe, practicing non-judgmental awareness of the here and now, which is the definition of mindfulness, non-critical awareness of the present moment without judgment. The less you analyze, the better. The more relaxed your mind, the better the effect. The goal is to let the state of the body and the state of emotions be fully recognized. Typically, if you can do deep breathing like this for about a minute, you will find that your entire being has relaxed a lot and become much calmer, and external events will no longer have the power to attack or hurt you. There is also a wonderful thing. I begin to reclaim the power of self-love, connecting with the energy of self-love. You can visualize and feel that you are transparent. You are a transparent person, and both your body and mind are transparent. Thus, the anger that was once there cannot enter, it just passes by and leaves, and the fears and guilt will also just pass by and leave, okay? This is being present in the moment, just like we see in nature, flowers blooming and withering, clouds gathering and dispersing. There is no need to cling to those flowers or clouds. The state of our body is just like this, and this is the power of awareness. Often, we urban dwellers tend to neglect our body and mind states, especially for men, where it is most severe. We may not even notice back pain or heart issues, so some people suddenly pass away. It's not sudden, it's due to overwork and more. The real reason is that we have long neglected our inner voice, inner feelings, body signals, and emotional signals. Therefore, the body is the most honest, it is our best friend. We should respect our bodies more, value them, and cherish them. It's very simple. Perform the up and down hands gesture, remember the 5 steps, sit up straight and pull up, feel the roots extending from your feet, stand firmly, touch your up and down hands, close your eyes and pull the internal meridian far away, and inhale deeply. It should feel very comfortable and natural. Most importantly, take it slow, do not force your body. Let yourself inhale deeply and exhale fully, and we will become calmer and calmer. During the deep breathing and meditation process, the body will signal various sensations: pain, soreness, swelling, tingling, numbness, and even sudden pain. All of these are good signs. If you feel any discomfort during deep breathing and meditation, simply thank the part of your body that feels uncomfortable and tell it to relax. You can gently place your hand on it, or about an inch or 2 away from it. This palm position is known as the labor point. In traditional Chinese Qigong, this position and finger placement are significant. If we place our hand here, we will gradually feel the energy and can tell it to relax. If you notice pain or symptoms in any part of your body during meditation or deep breathing, it may have been hurting for a long time, indicating that there may be some issues in that area that have been suppressed. You can take a moment to relax. If the pain persists, see a doctor for a checkup. You may discover some issues that deserve our attention. So the most important thing is that deep breathing is very effective for emotions, because when we do it continuously, even in emotional situations, it is the fastest method to help stabilize ourselves. It's best to make it a habit in our daily lives. Finally, I want to share one more technique, which is something I often do. When I relax and deep breathe, I add a thought, which is compassionate deep breathing. How to do it? It's simple. Visualize the great love of the universe and nature, inhaling endless compassion, laughter, blessings, gratitude, care, love, gentleness, humility, and kindness from the crown point at the top of your head. continuously drawing in these positive energies, then exhaling all my inner anxieties, fears, guilt, criticism, self-blame, shame, anger, helplessness, and grievances, releasing them out through the soles of my feet, sending them into the boundless depths of the universe. So this creates a positive cycle, drawing from the universe, inhaling endless compassion, blessings, and love, and then releasing all negative energy into the vastness of the cosmos. The Mother Earth of the universe embodies endless compassion, capable of transforming this negative energy, allowing us to become increasingly calm. As we practice deep breathing in this way, we gradually gain a special ability. We start to become sensitive to our emotions. We begin to do something very important, which is to name our emotions. Handling emotions is like seeing a distressed baby. When you see a baby in distress, you don't hit him, you don't scold him, you don't throw him into a dark room and lock him up, you don't pretend he doesn't exist, and you don't kick him away. When you see a baby crying uncontrollably, what do? I guess many people would walk over to hug him, pick him up, and accompany him. This is how we handle emotions. It's not about denial, not about venting, not about attacking, not about opposition, but about embracing them. Then, try to name the emotions, because during deep breathing and relaxation, I can feel some fear within me, some unease, and behind the fear, there may be some guilt, and beneath that guilt, I feel helpless. Layer by layer, we can externalize and concretize our emotions, and then slowly accompany them. Just deep breathing is already the best method to accompany emotions, because each of us has a powerful and limitless energy of self-love and love for others. If you don't believe it, try this now. Let yourself relax while deep breathing, following the steps we discussed earlier, then feel an emotion and name that emotion, and allow yourself to coexist with it, continuing to deep breathe while pulling away all external distractions, and then continue to slowly inhale deeply, exhale deeply, inhale deeply, exhale deeply. Then gently place your hands on your chest or navel, performing the up and down hands gesture, continuing to feel this emotion, and tell it, "Thank you for the reminder, I acknowledge that I have this emotion." I believe that within a minute, if you practice it skillfully, you will find that the emotion gradually relaxes and becomes lighter, no longer troubling you, and you will learn how to coexist with it. In the next class, I will share other effective methods, allowing us to start from deep breathing and gradually master the effective techniques for transforming and wisely using emotions. Thank you for watching. Lesson 3, Acknowledgement. Hello everyone, welcome to the third lesson where we continue discussing how to make good use of emotions. In the last class, we talked about a very important fundamental skill, deep breathing. Deep breathing not only helps with emotions, but I highly encourage everyone to make it a daily habit. You will find that if you practice consistently, after 1 or 2 months, some chronic illnesses may unexpectedly improve, or at least the pain will be greatly reduced. Today we are discussing a very specific technique, a method on how to face emotions and make good use of them, which is to acknowledge our emotions. Acknowledging emotions is very important. What does acknowledgement mean? It means being completely 100% honest with yourself, allowing emotions to exist without avoidance, resistance, concealment, attack, or criticism. Because behind all emotions are unmet desires, unmet needs, unmet expectations, and some unfulfilled beliefs. So, behind emotions are the most important qualities of our lives. By acknowledging emotions, we can rebuild ourselves, discover ourselves, reconstruct ourselves, and regain our life's power and direction. The process of acknowledging emotions is not simple, especially for those who have never tried to do this before. Initially, acknowledgement is very uncomfortable, such as admitting to having guilt, helplessness, hypocrisy, grievance, arrogance, etc. These acknowledgements may make people feel uneasy. But it seems to be a special design by heaven. The more we acknowledge it, the more our ability to coexist, embrace, and make good use of emotions will continuously improve. Therefore, acknowledging and accepting emotions is not a full stop, but a present continuous process. It is something that needs to be done every day. There will never be a day when you achieve perfection and have no emotions anymore. We are not pursuing perfection but rather seeking to make good use of emotions when they arise, cherish them, and benefit from them, turning defeat into victory. Making good use of every emotion can actually make us healthier people, with increasingly stronger inner strength. There are a few tips to learn how to acknowledge emotions. First, speak out loud, don't just think in your mind. Try to spend a few minutes each day in quality, quiet, self-reflective time. Sit relaxed in a comfortable environment, whether cross-legged or sitting up straight, as long as you feel comfortable. Of course, try to sit up straight as much as possible, remembering what we talked about in the last class, that straightening the spine is beneficial for physical and mental health and makes it easier to face emotions. When acknowledging emotions, speak slowly and repetitively. For example, I acknowledge that I am a bit nervous now, I am a bit worried now. Saying it a second time will be much easier because you have accepted it, and it no longer attacks you, harms you, or controls you. You begin to have inner freedom, inner peace, and establish healthy boundaries with external people and things, no longer clinging tightly to external things. Usually, because of ego, we want to control our parents, partners, friends, careers, children, teams, bosses, subordinates, etc., all because of an inner sense of lack, low self-esteem, low self-image, and fear of low self-worth. How do we deal with these fears? These are all created by us. The greatest good news in life is that all the insecurities in life are created by us. Our minds create them, so deep breathing is to calm the mind. The definition of meditation is to calm the mind. When I continuously meditate, start acknowledging emotions, no longer avoiding, no longer concealing, no longer attacking, no longer denying, but living with them, I begin to gain autonomy over life, becoming the master of emotions. Gradually discovering the inner strength becomes stronger and stronger because the power of the mind is as vast as the universe. The mind is infinitely large. When dreaming, your mind can create anything. Since the power of the mind is infinite, we need to make good use of the power of the mind through deep breathing, acknowledgement, maintaining awareness, and making new choices without easily projecting. When acknowledging, there is one crucial tip: do not say, I acknowledge that I am very angry, I acknowledge that I am full of guilt, I acknowledge that I am a helpless person. This is very dangerous because if you acknowledge, I am a helpless person, it is equivalent to helplessness. Acknowledging, I am very inferior, is equivalent to inferiority. Thus, you will always be helpless, inferior, angry, sentencing yourself to a life sentence. So when acknowledging, try using a simple expression: I acknowledge I have a part that is helpless, I acknowledge I have a part that is domineering, I acknowledge I have a part that is fearful. This is just one very small part of the many thousands of parts of life. While doing this, give yourself an awareness that not only do I have thousands of parts, but all these parts are shared by the 7 billion people on Earth. Do your parents have fears? Do they have helplessness? Do they have worries? Do they have guilt? Do they have anger? They certainly do. What about their parents? What about their ancestors? The ancestors of their ancestors? So when we find ourselves having certain emotions, remind yourself that these are emotions shared by all 7 billion people. Throughout human history, everyone has had the emotions of everyone else, at least a seed of them. Each person's combination and proportion are different. Some primarily feel grievance, some primarily feel anger, some primarily feel helplessness, guilt, or fear, and everyone has them. By connecting with our inner emotions and then connecting with the unity of all beings, the emotions of all humanity, we can unleash the power of love. Empathy, compassion, and the energy of love will be activated. Emotions themselves are not the problem, avoidance is. The more we face them, the more we can see through them, transcend them, and instead use emotions to gain great strength. Through fear, helplessness, and grievance, I see that I have many attachments, many expectations. In the past, I demanded perfection from myself and then projected emotions onto my partner and children, saying many unhappy words. So, in this lesson, we are sharing about acknowledgement. The more we acknowledge, the more familiar we become with our emotions. The first time you acknowledge, you might admit you have fear, and saying it out loud might make you feel uneasy and resistant. But when you relax, sit up straight, close your eyes, and say it slowly while breathing deeply, within a minute or two, by the third or seventh time you say, "I acknowledge I have a part that is fearful," you begin to make friends with fear and start to make good use of it. So next time you have emotions, it's simple: let yourself be still, breathe deeply, distance yourself from external people and things, pay attention to it, and let yourself be still. Start using the words, "I acknowledge." If the environment allows, speak it out loud, say it slowly. There are 3 steps when speaking. First, talk to yourself more often, get used to talking to yourself, and in quiet times, say out loud slowly, "I acknowledge I've been more angry recently, I've had some anxiety recently," say it slowly. When you start to feel familiar, comfortable, and natural, you can take the second step and share with your most trusted friend, maybe your partner. "I found out that on the surface I seem so confident, but inside there is a lot of insecurity, behind the fear there is criticism, guilt." Say it slowly, and the whole process is a journey of self-acceptance, self-healing, and self-completion. Even some great leaders can share openly with others, emphasize, support, and contribute to more lives. So, speak out, because the vibrational frequency of the voice itself has a healing effect. The 3 steps: first, talk to yourself until you are very familiar. Familiarity lies in acceptance, really able to fully embrace this part of the emotion, then you can calmly talk to your most trusted and cherished friends. The third part can be to express openly in appropriate occasions, supporting others and inspiring others. When you start talking to yourself, you can add an idea, which is to see yourself from God's perspective. Because it's too easy to see with your own eyes, because we have pride and ego, wanting to see ourselves as right, wanting to avoid our mistakes and faults. On the contrary, see yourself with a divine perspective. The Bible says that after God created the heavens and the earth, He saw everything as good, and God made man in His image, so we all have a divine part. Buddhist scriptures say that all beings have Buddha nature, and everyone can become a Buddha. Seeing yourself with a divine perspective is very important. Because many times, spiritual practice, which has been very popular in Hong Kong in recent years, involves a lot of spiritual terminology, and at the same time, I believe true practice must be implemented in the most human aspects of life. Spirituality and humanity need to be combined. So when I contact my emotions, not only do I not fight with them, but I look at them with a divine perspective. These emotions help me grow, help me learn humility, learn to surrender, learn to let go. What does surrender mean? Let me share in these last 2 minutes. Acknowledgement is the core of surrender. It's the whole surrender to the universe, to the heavens and the earth, trusting that the will of heaven is not love. The first step is to acknowledge your shortcomings, acknowledge that you have certain emotions, certain greed. And when you see it, don't attack it. This is discernment, this is wisdom. So when speaking, be calm, let yourself relax, sit up straight, close your eyes, put your hands up and down, with the greatest love for yourself, see with God's perspective. Seeing that I am who I am today because of the good intentions of heaven, there are lessons worth learning in my life. I deserve to experience unconditional love, which is the most precious part of life. No longer expect unconditional love from your partner or parents. No one can give you love, they can only share. Even if they want to give it to you, accepting it or not is your choice. So when I acknowledge, I start learning to accept myself, love myself, let myself experience, create, and generate this unconditional love. This acknowledgement is actually a positive wisdom of life. So when we talk about surrender, many people misunderstand it as being passive, doing nothing, letting go, being detached, or watching from the sidelines. Quite the opposite, surrender is the most active action. It is an acceptance of the present in mindset, an acceptance of the reality of life in mindset, an acceptance of this moment in mindset. I have no ability to change anyone, I have no ability, no need, no responsibility to change the external world. I am not criticizing the external world, while letting myself humbly surrender, with this suchness heart, then I can spread love. First, create, experience, and feel this self-love yourself, then share this love with others, share it with more people, let every moment of interaction carry this self-love, and then turn this self-love into a flow and sharing of love energy between people. So, the inner surrender, the external behavior will be very active, starting with acknowledgement. Time is almost up. Finally, I want everyone at this moment to relax, sit up straight, close your eyes, and try to say slowly with the words, I acknowledge. I acknowledge that I treat my children this way, I treat my partner this way, actually because of what inside. Let yourself say it step by step. Remember what I said in the first lesson, emotions are like a skyscraper, a 1,000-story skyscraper. When acknowledging, you can say layer by layer, I acknowledge that beneath my anger may be fear, beneath fear may be grievance, beneath grievance may be guilt. There is no standard answer, let yourself do it slowly. When we do this, there will truly be self-love, inner peace will become more natural, more habitual, more fluent. I hope this episode on acknowledgement is valuable to everyone. In the next lesson, we will share another very important method. Let's learn to make good use of emotions together. Thank you, sincerely thank you all. Lesson 4, Detachment. Hello everyone, welcome to the 4th lesson of Mastering Emotions. Today, we will discuss another very important method, I am not my emotions. This is a method I really like and a mantra I often use. When I have emotions, this method effectively helps me. Every day we experience emotions, but when I use this method, the emotions lighten. Most importantly, I can transform emotions, make good use of them, and turn emotions that originally troubled me into a state of calm, gaining much wisdom from it. All the emotions and pain in our lives are actually created by ourselves. Emotions are not entities, they do not inherently exist. The nature of emotions is that they come quickly and go quickly. You won't be in the same emotional state for 24 hours, it constantly changes. Emotions are like the night or darkness, you can't find the entity of darkness. When you turn off the light, the room becomes dark, but when you turn on the light, the darkness disappears. Darkness is essentially the absence of light, and the nature of emotions is the lack of love. When we are full of emotions, it is actually our inner self calling for love. Emotions remind us of our inner imbalance, indicating that we may have lost love or that our way of loving is distorted. Many parents and partners express love through sacrifice or control, which is not true love. True love is about letting the other person be free, not controlling each other. So when we have emotions, it is often because we lack love or our way of loving is distorted. Emotions remind us that we need a pure form of love to dissolve and transform emotions. Therefore, the tool shared today, I am not my emotions, is very useful. Each of us has countless emotions, which are variable and cannot be fully expressed in words. Each emotion is like a hat, and we can choose how to wear it and how to make good use of it. Remember, emotions are fleeting, so when emotions arise, there's no need to hold on to them, fight them, or oppose them. Let them appear and then let them disappear. Today, I share a special method, a few simple phrases that can help us deal with emotions. For example, when you feel angry, say to yourself, I am not my anger. This is the first phrase, reminding yourself that you are not equal to your emotions, you are the master of your emotions. Emotions only appear at this moment, like a transparent person observing their own anger, and slowly, the emotion will disappear. Emotions are like clouds, once they gather, they will disperse. Life is like this, and we need to learn to face impermanence, not to control or hold on to anything. This is a lesson everyone needs to learn. This method helps us learn true happiness because happiness is an inner state of mind. Happiness should not depend on external things like career, marriage, or wealth, otherwise, when these external things go wrong, our happiness becomes fragile. The first phrase, I am not my anger. The second phrase, I have my anger. The third phrase, when I feel angry, I can choose. For example, I can choose to lower my expectations, examine my attachments, see if I'm trying too hard to control or prove I'm right, if I'm refusing to listen to the other person's opinion, or if I'm forcing the other person to change according to my standards. These three phrases can instantly transform emotions, no longer being a slave to emotions, but becoming the master of emotions. Here are a few more examples. For fear, I am not my fear. I have my fear. When I feel fear, I can choose to be more careful and cautious. First, take a deep breath, calm down, and accept the reality of life. For helplessness, I am not my helplessness. I have my helplessness. When I feel helpless, I can choose not to give power to external people or things and create my own happiness. For being domineering, I am not my domineering. I have my domineering. When I feel domineering, I can choose to understand the other person and listen to their needs. For jealousy, I am not my jealousy. I have my jealousy. When I feel jealous, I can choose to remind myself to learn compassion and empathy, respecting the other person's freedom. This method is very important, practical, and applicable to daily life. The practice of I am not my emotions can be extended to other areas, such as views, experiences, roles, etc. For example, I am not my views. I have these views. When my views are criticized, I can choose to lighten up and accept different perspectives. I am not my experiences. I have these experiences. These experiences remind me to learn love, responsibility, humility, and to distinguish between safety and health. I am not my identity as a man. I have this identity as a man, and I can express both the sunny, rational side and the gentle side, becoming a complete person. So today's tool is very important. Try practicing, I am not my emotions. I have my emotions. When I feel emotions, I can choose how to respond. Thank you sincerely for watching. I hope this lesson is helpful to you. Lesson 5, Choice. Hello everyone, welcome to the 5th lesson on harnessing emotions. Today's lesson is very important. Previously, I have talked about the power of heart breathing, the power of shaping, and the power of I am not my emotions. Today, I want to share with you an important principle that can be used every day, which is I choose. Try saying I choose more often to yourself, starting each sentence with I choose, and you will see the power manifest immediately. In counseling, there is a golden saying I love: no matter what happens in the external environment, we have at least 3 choices. Here, 3 actually represents infinite choices, and this concept is very important. We often have tunnel vision, seeing only what's in front of us and feeling like there are no choices. For example, if my mother has cancer, my father goes bankrupt, or my son fails his exams, or my spouse is unfaithful, it feels like life is hopeless. But in fact, we have many choices. I am very happy to have supported some cancer patients over the years, sharing my experiences with them, which has been very enlightening for me. Having cancer does not mean life is hopeless. If you find yourself diagnosed with cancer, try asking yourself, besides fear, guilt, helplessness, grievance, and suicide, what positive choices do you have? You can immediately look for a support group, start meditating, connect with spiritual growth practices, or search online for information about cancer, read books like You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay, etc. These are all choices you can make. So, we should remind ourselves more often that when we feel pain, immediately tell ourselves that pain is a choice, and happiness is also a choice. When you feel wronged, immediately tell yourself that feeling wronged is a choice, helplessness is a choice, and being empowered is also a choice. The key lies in the internal choice, not the external environment or others' choices. We do not need to let the external environment determine our fate or control our internal choices. Therefore, you can use the words I choose more often, whether talking to yourself or chatting with friends. For example, you can say, "You're getting married, thank you and bless you, but I choose not to come that day because I'm busy with another important project. Saying it this way means you don't have to lie or feel guilty. To help yourself make choices, first, relax, sit up straight, and take a deep breath, which is our basic skill. Maintain this habit, keeping your body relaxed over the long term, and your health will gradually improve. We breathe an average of 20,000 times a day. If each time you can breathe deeply, relax, and sit up straight, then you are doing 20,000 effective mind-body-spirit exercises every day, and your health and happiness index will surely increase. Next, let go of the mind's obsessions, close your eyes, look at yourself with a sacred perspective, and connect with your inner sacredness and Buddha nature. When you feel lonely or helpless, try hugging yourself, and you will feel safe, blessed, and valuable. With this energy and vision, make statements of, "I choose," and such choices will be very powerful. What you choose is not the most important thing, the most important is to connect with the best version of yourself and carry the intention, "I want to be the best version of myself. I deserve to be the best version of myself." Cultivate this habit, do a simple visualization exercise, and see the best version of yourself in front of you. This exercise will make your life different. If you find it hard to see, or if you fall asleep every time you meditate, don't worry. Dimensional vision is not for seeing but for feeling. Use your 5 senses to experience it, hear sounds, feel touch, smell fragrance. This kind of experience is the best. So, let go of the mind, completely let go of the mind, so that choice is no longer just an emotional outburst but a truly sacred internal choice. This is a practice that requires continuous training. Even if you don't do it perfectly the first time, don't give up. Take small steps every day to gradually enhance your spiritual power. I used to be a person full of emotions, but through continuous practice and personal growth, I have been able to transform, and it all stems from small daily choices. Finally, I want to share some powerful words that can enhance our self-feeling and inner strength. I choose, I acknowledge, I believe, I can, I commit, I deserve. I deserve helps us no longer rely on external recognition but affirm our value from within. I can allows us to believe in our ability to make changes. I believe lets us see future possibilities. I commit makes us responsible for our actions. Words lacking power, such as, I should, I hope, I'll try, often come from the mind's limitations and lack inner strength. So, today's lesson is not just about emotional transformation techniques but a way of life, a worldview. When we master these powerful words and integrate them into daily life, we can not only change ourselves but also influence those around us, creating more harmonious relationships. I hope today's sharing is helpful to you, and I sincerely thank you for your participation. Lesson 6, Acceptance. Hello, everyone. Today, I'd like to share Lesson 6 with you, which is about the value of emotions. In this lesson, I'll discuss some emotions that everyone inevitably experiences. These emotions are incredibly important and may even be your core emotions. What value do these emotions hold? How can we make the most of them? Today, through several examples, I'll help you grasp the specific and practical value of each emotion. First, humans are a very unique design. If humans were indeed created by God, I would also like to ask God, why did you choose to create humans this way? God had countless ways to create life. Why choose to create humanity instead of only having the earth, universe, animals, and plants? Why not create a perfect, flawless world where everyone is happy every day? I don't know the exact answer, but I suspect that such a design may stem from the compassionate love of the universe, hoping that each of us will learn to accept life's fragility, to accept our own vulnerability and failures. Only by accepting these can we gain strength and growth. This is an unconditional acceptance, rather than judging ourselves based on the external environment. Today, I'd like to illustrate this concept with some common examples, such as guilt, sadness, anger, anxiety, and fear, emotions that everyone goes through. I'll explain each of these emotions to show what they remind us of and how to utilize them properly so that they don't destroy or harm us. Let's start with guilt. Every emotion holds different value for each person. What I'm sharing today is just my personal perspective, not a textbook standard, simply a reference or guide. Guilt can be an extremely destructive emotion. Many people feel they don't deserve happiness and joy due to guilt and may even subconsciously choose depression, eczema, back pain, cancer, and other issues as a way to punish themselves because they feel they've let certain people down. Guilt is a fatal emotion, and persistent guilt can lead to severe mental and physical issues. For example, many American veterans from the Vietnam War experienced mental health problems or even committed suicide due to survivors' guilt. However, guilt doesn't exist to destroy us. It's a reminder that we're living in the past, using our past mistakes to punish ourselves. Guilt is a gift of life because everyone makes mistakes. When guilt appears, I tell myself that I'm refusing to forgive myself and that my expectations for myself are too high. When I feel guilty, I take a deep breath, relax, acknowledge the part of myself that feels guilty, and then choose to let go of the past, take responsibility, and transform guilt into a driving force to do what needs to be done. This way, guilt becomes a supportive energy. Next, let's talk about anger. Everyone feels anger, which can lead to reckless behavior, damaging relationships and teams. When we don't understand or try to avoid anger, it brings harm. But if we make good use of anger, when it arises, we can first take a deep breath, acknowledge its presence, and see what it reminds us of. We might be too attached to something, imposing our standards on others. Once we realize this, we can choose to let go of our attachment and learn to listen to the feelings of others. Anxiety and fear are also common emotions. When we are constantly anxious and fearful, life becomes constricted, losing its vitality. However, courage comes from facing fear. When we acknowledge fear and coexist with it, courage naturally arises. Finally, let's discuss sadness and helplessness. Many people feel helpless, as if they have no choice. When we're in this state continuously, life becomes discouraging and powerless. However, these emotions remind us to value certain things, giving us an opportunity to connect with our inner strength. Therefore, every emotion has its unique value, corresponding to our unique needs and learning experiences. When we understand how to make good use of each emotion, we can establish a healthy self and build healthy relationships with others. I hope today's lesson can help everyone recognize the value of emotions and learn to use them to improve themselves. Thank you sincerely for watching. Lesson 7, Gratitude. Today, we come to our 7th lesson on emotional application, focusing on the power of gratitude, especially gratitude in adversity. Gratitude in adversity is a theme and tool I deeply cherish because adversity is a daily occurrence and a constant in life. Building a healthy relationship with adversity is a mandatory course in life. If we feel depressed, wronged, avoidant, or powerless when facing adversity, life cannot function effectively, our dreams become difficult to achieve, and we remain trapped in states of depression and grievance. Therefore, learning gratitude in adversity is essential, and I practice it daily. I want to share this practical method with everyone, enabling us to feel grateful in adversity whether we're dealing with relationships, social issues, economics, politics, life partners, or anything else. This is an extremely important skill. The greatest value of gratitude in adversity lies in shifting our focus. When facing adversity, our initial focus is usually on emotions like unhappiness, disappointment, depression, helplessness, heartache, pain, resignation, grievance, guilt, self-blame, and sorrow. However, when we learn gratitude, our focus shifts from I to we, from personal pain to the blessings we possess, seeing the blessings from others and the universe, like flora, sunlight, air, water, and everything bestowed by our ancestors. We expand from a personal perspective to a broader world, feeling the power from ancestors, partners, and countless people who have inspired, supported, and helped us. Therefore, this is a very rapid transformation tool. I haven't found a faster transformation tool than gratitude in adversity because while initially we might need to force ourselves to be grateful in adversity, it becomes a natural response with practice. When we habitually practice gratitude in adversity, inner strength naturally emerges as our focus shifts from inward to outward, from personal pain to connection with all things. So how do we practice gratitude in adversity? I encourage everyone to start with the simplest things. For instance, living on the 20th floor and having water flow when turning on the tap is something to be grateful for. This involves countless workers' efforts, engineers' designs, and architects' planning, allowing us to comfortably access water at home. Having light when switching on lamps and using phones also involves the efforts of thousands of people. We need to start realizing that our efforts aren't the greatest. While we should be grateful for our own efforts, we should also see that there are many things in life worthy of gratitude. The first step is to start with the simplest things, developing a habit of gratitude, being thankful for sunlight, air, and all who serve us. The second step is being grateful for our own efforts. Many people aren't used to being grateful to themselves, always feeling inadequate, but we must learn to appreciate our efforts, attempts, and persistence. The third step is being grateful to parents, ancestors, and family, especially the parental grace emphasized in Chinese culture, starting with parents and extending to our ancestors and team. The fourth step is being grateful to our bodies. Emotions and body are inseparable, and one effective way to handle emotions is to focus on the body, give ourselves deep breaths, listen to our body's needs, and thank our body. Gratitude can be practiced in 4 steps. First, express gratitude to yourself, then to deities or nature in your heart, followed by expressing gratitude to teachers and benefactors, and finally to your team, partner, family, and friends. Gratitude in adversity is an immediate tool for softening the heart, opening it from pain, helplessness, grievance, and sorrow. I'll illustrate with 2 examples. I once severely injured my knee, which made me cherish my body more and recover through natural therapy. In relationships, I once betrayed a partner, which taught me the importance of honesty and made me resolve never to hurt others again. These adversities shaped who I am today. Whatever you've experienced in the past, everyone is born with purpose, and every adversity has its meaning and value. Finally, I want to conclude with Oprah Winfrey's example, who grew up in adversity and became an influential person helping countless women. Learn the method of gratitude in adversity. Don't let pain go to waste. After this lesson, calm down, feel the adversity, breathe deeply, acknowledge your inner feelings, then thank these challenges and reminders to become a better person, turning this pain point into a bright spot in life. Lesson 8, Boundaries. Hello everyone, today we're discussing emotional blackmail, a concept introduced by British psychologist Susan Forward in the 1990s. She published a book titled Emotional Blackmail. What is emotional blackmail? It occurs when someone displays their suffering to gain benefits or recognition, such as saying, "I'm miserable, I'll die without you," or "I'm in pain, I miss you," hoping to make you dependent, pleasing, and meeting their needs. This isn't legal blackmail, but rather achieving goals through emotional manipulation. This concept is based on the Karpman triangle, drama triangle, proposed by American clinical psychologist Stephen Karpman in 1968. In all unhealthy relationships, there are typically 3 roles: victim, persecutor, and rescuer. Notably, one person can play all 3 roles in the same relationship. For example, a wife might feel victimized while her husband becomes her rescuer, or a traditional mother might feel the need to rescue her son, but as she helps more, the son becomes more irresponsible, ultimately making the mother both persecutor and victim. Stephen Karpman pointed out that all rescuers eventually become victims. This is very common in intimate relationships and parent-child relationships. From my observation, I would say 80% of significant relationships involve some degree of drama triangle and emotional blackmail. People often need love and recognition but won't express it directly, instead showing their pain to make others feel guilty to achieve their goals. How should we view this drama triangle? It's worth asking yourself 3 questions. First, which role do I most commonly play in all my important relationships? Victim, persecutor, or rescuer? We usually play all three roles, which may shift in different relationships. For example, one might be a persecutor to their spouse, a victim to their father, and a rescuer to their boss. These three roles attract each other. When I feel like a rescuer, I attract victims and might encounter persecutors. The second question is, what are the benefits and costs of playing this role? Each role has its benefits. Rescuers feel noble, loving, and needed, but they also neglect their own needs, often feel wronged, and become exhausted. Victims can avoid responsibility but feel miserable, even believing in their misery, leading to physical and mental exhaustion. Persecutors feel powerful but may eventually find themselves alienated from others. The third question is, what's my way out? What kind of relationship do I truly desire? If I don't want to play these three roles, what can I do? We should become fully responsible creators, which requires establishing healthy boundaries. Healthy boundaries aren't about drawing strict lines, but about caring for and valuing others while maintaining our own bottom lines, saying no with love. First, relax and close your eyes, feel the most important relationships in your life, think about what roles you played in your most painful past relationships, what price you paid, and decide to change. Because if you don't have the intention to change, no one can help you change. Conversely, if you have the determination to change, no one can stop you. I want to share three important distinctions with everyone. When we can distinguish these three things, we can break free from the drama triangle and stop playing the roles of victim, persecutor, rescuer, pleaser, or taker, and become responsible creators instead. The first distinction is responsibility. There are only three things in the world: my business, your business, and God's business. We often carry others' responsibilities, thinking it's noble, but it's actually irresponsible. When I carry your responsibilities, it only makes you more irresponsible and makes me more suffering and distorted. We need to understand that we are responsible for our own responsibilities, which helps us maintain inner peace and ease, even when facing irresponsible people or criticism. The second distinction is interpretation. Is this your interpretation or mine? When we hear uncomfortable or irresponsible words, we need to remind ourselves, this is your story, not my story, this is your interpretation, not my interpretation. This way, we won't be controlled by others' opinions and can maintain inner peace and confidence. The third distinction is boundaries. Healthy boundaries aren't about drawing strict lines, but about caring for and respecting others while maintaining our own bottom lines. Even when others make mistakes or attack us, we can still bless them. The key to healthy boundaries is being clear about our emotional bottom lines and taking responsibility for ourselves. Don't overpromise, don't pretend to be nice, but be consistent and authentic. Emotional blackmail is very common in life. Broadly speaking, any behavior that displays one's pain to satisfy one's needs can be considered emotional blackmail. Such behavior traps us in the drama triangle, from which we ultimately cannot escape. Stephen Karpman points out that the only way out is to step out of the drama triangle. Finally, I hope this series can help everyone. We need to be honest with ourselves, stop pretending to be nice, and be our authentic selves. Everyone has a most pure part inside, which is our divinity and true nature. As long as we are genuinely ourselves, we will attract more people who love and respect us. Lesson 9: The Iceberg. In this lesson, we will learn about a very important and widely applied psychological tool, the iceberg model. This concept is well known in psychology and counseling, and many experts have explained it in different ways. The iceberg model traces its origins back to Freud, who introduced the concepts of the conscious and subconscious mind. He used an iceberg as a metaphor, where only the tip is visible above the water, while the subconscious remains hidden beneath the surface. The iceberg model is so significant because it reminds us that the truth behind many things often lies hidden beneath the surface. According to physics, the part of an iceberg that is exposed above water makes up only about 10% of its total mass, giving rise to the saying, the tip of the iceberg. In psychology, the behaviors we observe are merely the surface, while the underlying emotions, expectations, beliefs, and self-worth are the fundamental drivers of those behaviors. In today's discussion, I will introduce the 5 levels of the iceberg model: behavior, emotions, expectations, beliefs, and self-worth. Behavior: this is the outward expression we can observe, often a pattern. For instance, some people may exhibit impatience, controlling tendencies, or a need for harmony. These behavioral patterns are usually consistent, and we tend to rely on specific patterns regardless of the situation. Emotions: behind behaviors are our emotions, which are also patterns. Over our lifetimes, we often develop 1 or 2 core emotions, such as fear, helplessness, inferiority, or guilt. These emotions are gifts of life, reminding us to pay attention to certain inner needs. Expectations: expectations are our assumptions about the future. When expectations are unmet, we often feel pain. Expectations project our inner needs onto the external world. In close relationships, we usually have higher expectations of others. Beliefs: beliefs are our perceptions of the world that influence our thoughts, actions, and habits. To change our destiny, we must first change our beliefs. Self-worth: this is our perception of our life's value, which influences our beliefs and behavioral patterns. For example, if a parent feels anxious about their child's academic performance, it may be because they associate their self-worth with their child's achievements. Such parents may exhibit controlling and anxious behaviors, driven by guilt and fear of not being a good parent. I hope this iceberg series inspires everyone. When you feel confused, take a moment to examine your own iceberg. This can be a powerful tool. The 5 levels of the iceberg model: behavior, emotions, expectations, beliefs, and self-worth, are all worth exploring in depth. Below are some questions to help us with self-reflection. Behavior: first, ask yourself, what are my most common behavioral patterns? Are these behaviors fixed? Our behaviors are often not accidental but are habits formed over time. Every behavioral pattern has its benefits and costs. For example, avoidance may temporarily help us escape responsibility, but it also robs us of opportunities for growth. Emotions: behind behavior lies emotion. Emotions are the truest reflections of our inner selves and do not lie. It's important to identify our core emotions and surface emotions. Each person has different emotional patterns, and understanding our own can help us better manage our emotions. Expectations: expectations are our assumptions about the future. Our expectations of others often mirror our expectations of ourselves. By lowering expectations, we can reduce suffering and increase happiness. Try asking yourself, what are my expectations of others and myself? Are these expectations reasonable? Beliefs: beliefs are our perceptions of the world that influence our thoughts and actions. Often, we are bound by limiting beliefs. Learning to rewrite these beliefs can give us greater freedom and choice. Self-worth: this is our perception of our own value. Affirming our self-worth allows us to rely less on external validation and find fulfillment from within. At the end of this series, I hope everyone continues practicing the iceberg model. Through ongoing self-observation and reflection, you can enhance your inner strength. Mindfulness is an incredibly useful tool that helps us be aware of our current state, observing ourselves and others non-judgmentally and with understanding. Thank you all for your support throughout this journey. I hope this lesson has inspired and helped you. Let's continue to explore and grow together in the journey ahead. Lesson 10: Communication. Welcome to our new unit, Effective Communication. The core of effective communication lies in 3 important principles. I often use these principles to remind myself, as I continue to learn and grow from my mistakes. First, address emotions first, then the issue. This principle emphasizes dealing with emotions before solving problems. Whether it is the other person's emotions or your own, they need to be understood and soothed first. This prevents unresolved feelings such as resentment, helplessness, or grievances from being projected onto the other person. For example, I once witnessed a conflict between a mother and a taxi driver. At that time, I managed to stay calm and used the phrase, "I'm sorry," to ease the emotions on both sides. This made me realize the importance of handling emotions first. Second, follow first, then guide. This principle means that in communication, you should first understand and follow the other person's positive starting point before trying to guide or change their perspective. The key to communication is not what you say but what the other person receives. Therefore, we need to frequently ask the other person, "How do you feel?" to confirm their feelings. This communication approach helps build respect and understanding. Third, maintain healthy boundaries. In communication, we need to clearly distinguish between my business, their business, and heaven's business. Doing so prevents us from being drawn into others' emotional whirlpools and avoids unnecessary conflicts. When we can distinguish these boundaries, we are better able to manage our emotions and maintain inner peace. These three principles, addressing emotions first, then the issue, following first, then guiding, and maintaining healthy boundaries, are the foundation of effective communication. I hope that by applying these communication techniques in real life, we can create more harmonious, happy, and meaningful relationships. I hope these insights inspire you and help us grow together in communication, building closer and more harmonious relationships. Thank you all for your participation, and see you next time. Lesson 11, Parent-Child Relationship. Hello everyone, today we are starting a new unit, Parent-Child Relationship. The core idea of this unit is, there are no children who cannot learn, only parents who do not know how to teach. This statement is not meant to criticize parents but to encourage every parent to believe in their children and reflect on their parenting methods. In parent-child relationships, we can consider the following important perspectives. Led by example, children learn most easily from their parents' actions, not their words. When we want our children to possess certain qualities, we must first demonstrate these qualities ourselves. For example, if we want our children to be happy and joyful, we must first become happy and joyful people ourselves. Let go of expectations. Every child is a unique individual with their own rhythm and way of exploring the world. Excessive expectations can become a source of stress for children, making them feel misunderstood. Parents need to learn to let go of excessive expectations and give their children the space to find their own paths. Respect and trust. Parents need to give their children enough respect and trust so that the children can feel loved and understood. When we overly interfere with or control our children's lives, they may feel pressured and uneasy. See children as growth partners. Children are our companions in growth, helping us grow as individuals. Their behavior often reflects unresolved issues within us. When we view the parent-child relationship from this perspective, we can better understand our children's behavior and learn and grow from it. Children's lives are independent. Children do not belong to us, they have their own lives to live. We are merely custodians of their lives, not their owners. Recognizing this allows us to love our children with a more open and inclusive attitude. I sincerely invite every parent to take some time to have genuine conversations with their children. Ask them how they see themselves and listen attentively without rushing to respond or argue. True love begins with listening, not one-sided lecturing. Finally, I would like to share 7 key phrases with everyone, which I hope will be inspiring. What do you think? This phrase is very important in conversations with children. Regardless of their age, this question helps them express their feelings and thoughts. It not only helps us understand their inner world but also cultivates their ability to express themselves. Take your time to speak. Patience is one of the best gifts parents can give to their children. When we tell them, "Take your time to speak," we are giving them the time and space to organize their thoughts, making them feel respected and loved. How do you think they would feel? When children make mistakes, don't rush to blame them. Instead, ask questions like, "How do you think they would feel?" to help children learn empathy and understand others' feelings. If you had a choice, what would you do? This phrase encourages children to think about their choices and behavior, teaching them to take responsibility for their actions rather than relying on parental instructions. Shall we face this together? When children feel frustrated or guilty, telling them, "Shall we face this together?" helps them feel supported and accompanied, knowing they are not alone. I see your effort. Even if your child's performance doesn't meet expectations, let them know you've noticed their hard work. This encourages them to keep trying instead of feeling discouraged by temporary failures. Dad and Mom will always love you. This phrase is simple yet powerful. No matter how your child performs, let them know your love is unconditional. This provides them with the greatest sense of security. These 7 phrases are not only applicable to parent-child relationships but can also be used in partnerships and self-growth. By respecting and understanding the uniqueness of every life, we can build more harmonious relationships. I hope this series will help every parent become a better version of themselves and grow hand in hand with their children. Thank you all sincerely for your participation. Let's work together to become the best versions of ourselves. Lesson 12, Intimate Relationships. Hello everyone, welcome to the unit on intimate relationships. Intimate relationships are something we all long for, whether it's with a partner, spouse, friend, child, or parent. We all hope these relationships can be harmonious and close. However, in reality, intimate relationships are often where we are most hurt because we tend to place too many expectations on them, hoping the other person will fulfill our needs. In fact, intimate relationships are the best training ground to help us improve ourselves, understand ourselves, and correct ourselves. Therefore, I encourage everyone to approach intimate relationships with a mindset of self-growth, so we can create truly happy intimate relationships. In intimate relationships, we need to ask ourselves 3 important questions. What expectations am I projecting onto this relationship? We often unconsciously project our needs and expectations onto our partner, hoping they will fulfill our desires. These desires may stem from our family of origin, from needs that were unmet during our upbringing. Understanding what we are projecting in a relationship helps us see our inner needs more clearly. What is this relationship trying to teach me? Every relationship is a gift from above, meant to teach us lessons. Whether it's past relationships or current ones, they are important reminders in our lives. Through these relationships, we can reflect on what we need to change and let go of. How do I need to change myself? Change begins with ourselves. We need to take responsibility for creating our own happiness instead of relying on others. Ask yourself what the first step of change is in this relationship. This kind of self-reflection and change allows us to grow in any relationship. In this process, we can use the tool of 4 ways: gratitude, love, apology, and farewell. This is a very effective spiritual exercise that helps us connect with others spiritually and then practice it in reality. The happiness of intimate relationships begins with self-awareness and self-fulfillment. When we can establish an intimate relationship with ourselves, we can find true intimacy and happiness in our relationships with others. Lesson 13, Transforming Adversity. Hello everyone, and welcome to our new unit, Transforming Adversity. In this series, we will explore how to shift our mindset during challenging times and grow through the trials we face. Experiencing adversity has taught me that when confronted with difficulties, the most important thing is to look at yourself, and look at yourself again. The key to transforming adversity lies in taking responsibility for yourself, forgiving yourself, learning from the experience, and growing. I will guide you through a breathing exercise, which is a practice to shift your mindset in the present moment. First, try sitting in a comfortable position. Ensure that your surroundings and space allow you to feel relaxed. Sit up straight and close your eyes. During the upcoming moments, I will lead you through this practice of transforming adversity and shifting your mindset in the present. If possible, gently place your hands on your chest, either one hand or both. This gesture signifies respecting your heart, connecting with the present moment, and honoring your inner sacredness. It also symbolizes temporarily letting go of all external people and matters. Release all expectations, set aside the external world for a moment, return to your heart, and let yourself calm down. If you can, sit with your back slightly straightened and place your feet comfortably flat on the floor. Keep your hands on your chest and feel your inner self. At this moment, your mind should be blank, and your heart should become increasingly calm. First, take a few very slow and quiet deep breaths. Slowly inhale infinite compassion, blessings, forgiveness, and love. Then release all tension, emotional stress, fear, helplessness, sadness, and suffering through the center of your soles, letting them drift into the boundless depths of the universe. Once again, from the top of your head, inhale infinite compassion, blessings, forgiveness, gratitude, and love from the depths of the universe. Feel it filling every cell and every pore of your body. Then release all inner helplessness, sadness, suffering, fear, worry, guilt, self-blame, and grievances through the center of your soles, letting them disappear into the boundless depths of the universe. Allow yourself to relax, slowly breathe deeply, and then breathe even more deeply. Take a deep inhale, a deep exhale, and savor this moment. There is nothing you need to think about, nothing you need to do, just continue to enjoy this peaceful moment. Let yourself receive the blessings of the universe's great love, and feel this beauty and power that comes when I connect with my inner sacredness. If your hands feel tired, you can temporarily lower them and place them on your thighs or another comfortable spot. Continue to relax. Now, try to recall the greatest adversity, the deepest wound, or the most significant setback in your life. It could be about relationships, marriage, sexuality, money, family, or career. At that moment, you may have felt your self-esteem was shattered, your honor was lost, and you were overwhelmed by shame, anger, guilt, or self-blame. Think of that event and immediately push it far away, 50 feet, 500 feet, 5,000 feet, or even 50,000 feet away. Try to distance the event that once caused you the most pain, shame, and difficulty to speak about until it becomes as small as a speck of dust, devoid of any power to interfere with or hurt us, and eventually fades away completely. It has become so tiny, so far away, and so blurred. Now, we focus on the present moment. Bring all your attention back to the here and now. Allow yourself to relax, continue deep breathing, and feel the greatest impact that the event had on you when you thought of it and pushed it away. The first secret to transforming adversity is to distance it and return to the present. Try to relax and then slowly say aloud the words, I acknowledge. Acknowledge that everything comes from your inner feelings, not the external environment. For example, I acknowledge that there are parts of me that are hurt, I acknowledge that there are parts of me that feel guilt, sadness, anger, and pain. Beneath these emotions, there may be fear, fear of failure, fear of not being loved, fear of feeling lost, fear of being abandoned, or even fear of hating oneself. Try to slowly say aloud, I acknowledge, and acknowledge your emotions. Emotions are layered, one layer after another. Everyone's experience is different, so try to identify your core emotions. Continue to relax and feel that when you can voice your emotions, you can own, embrace, and accept them instead of avoiding or suppressing them. These emotions are part of life, and everyone has them. The next step is, I choose. Try to quiet yourself and gently place your hands on your chest again. Feel the love of heaven, the love of God, and the great love of the universe. Feel yourself bathed in this universal love. Allow yourself to let go of ego, mind, struggle, and criticism, and feel the love of generations of ancestors supporting you from behind. With this universal love, look at yourself from God's perspective and say, I choose. Say anything you want to say. This is not a choice made with emotions but one guided by heaven and loved by heaven. Finally, let's practice, I am grateful. Express gratitude to anyone you want to thank. Thank heaven, thank God, thank the benefactors and noble people in your life, and most importantly, thank yourself. Thank yourself for your efforts and contributions. If you feel undeserving of gratitude during the process, temporarily place those feelings in a box to deal with later. Now, focus entirely on being grateful for your efforts and contributions. Slowly take a few deep breaths, return to this space, and then slowly open your eyes. I encourage you to revisit this practice frequently and follow along whenever you wish to do so. This simple practice is essentially the 3 A's: I acknowledge, I choose, I am grateful. I hope this series will be valuable to you. Let's work together. Thank you all.